Good evening, this is Eva. Before I talk about tonight's topic, which is kind of a fun one, I'm doing villain archetypes and the psychology of Batman. And before I do that, I just wanted to sort of briefly explain why I haven't been on here and I guess what's going on with me. I didn't really want to disclose this information, but like every night or day I want to make a video, and all I end up doing is just doing hours and hours of research and a lot of rehab on myself. Like I lost my Medicaid a couple months ago, and I live in a red state. And yes, I have Medicare because I'm on SSDI for my brain injury from the robbery assault that happened to me. Like, it'll be 8 years this June. Well, anyway, what's the point of this? The point of this is that normally I would go 2 or 3 times a week to receive continued outpatient rehab to because of my brain injury, which is permanent brain damage. I have misaligned. My eyes are misaligned. You can't tell just by looking at me. Sometimes you can tell if I look up or to the side. Sometimes you can see the misalignment then, but like if I'm looking at you straight on, you cannot see it. I can still drive a car. However, I had to pretty much leave my professional career because my reading and writing are poor, or very poor. And it's very deceptive because, well, for one thing, I'm highly intelligent still. I didn't lose my intelligence. I still have 2 master's degrees. I just can't really use them because they're in degrees that have to do with you have to do a lot of continuous computer reading and writing work constantly. Like for a social worker, you have to constantly be taking notes like all day long on your clients. Now for a librarian, like, no duh, you need to be able to read. So like and I was even having problems just shelving books. The only time I was really able to do it is I did work for, after my disability, for about 2 years at a law library, part-time, but law books are like gigantic. They're huge, right? So the numbers were enormous and they didn't pressure me like speed-wise, so I was able to take time and to read them, and it was easier because they were large, raised numbers. Okay, why am I telling you this? Because I just can't communicate or keep up with my own research on a level I want to. Yes, I can hit a button over and over again and post memes or whatever. It's not that hard. What I can't really do is organize a lot of information, especially if it's numeric or note taking is a problem. I have all these notes, but what ends up happening is I get lost in reading them because the letters swap. They swap. So while I'm reading, like, let's say, like for the Joker and Batman, like the J and the K, they'll swap, and then the E and the R, and then like if I have bullet points or if I have numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the points. They'll it's almost like alphabet soup. It's like it moves. The information doesn't stay where it's supposed to. So what it is that with objects, like big objects, like if I'm driving and reading a sign, especially because signs are like, so the color coding is pretty good, big letters, and that's not really far away is not a problem. The problem is if I'm trying to take in a lot of information like close up, like as when you're reading or writing notes or whatever, you have a lot of you just have a string of words, sentences, paragraphs, and I just I can only read them correctly for a period of time. And like usually what happens is when I'm giving these talks and I put on my glasses, like glasses don't help with a brain injury. All it does is like this is like normal aging glasses. These aren't my like migraine glasses like for my brain injury. Okay, these are just regular glasses. Okay, so but it'll end up happening is I'll be talking and then I'll be able to read normally for I don't know, probably long enough to then just start free talking, and so absolutely nobody has any idea that there's a problem. But there's a problem. Like there's a big problem. Okay, like it's just not normal. I can only read or interpret information correctly for a finite amount of time, and then what happens is since my eyes are permanently misaligned, it's like one of them's worse than the other. And it's like the messages from like, okay, back in the brain, this is where I got pistol whipped. The messages, like how you read is like your brain tells your eye like what it's seeing, like it interprets what isn't it's absorbing. And since I'm like everyone's like, oh, neuroplasticity, all this information about how you can by doing all these therapies and all this work, eye movement therapy, and just going to all these various treatments that I've been going to for like 7 years now. People are like, well, there's all this research that says you strengthen, like, how like they say, okay, if you have a negative mindset, you just have to teach yourself, positive thoughts where you have the negative thoughts. So like if I'm always like when I'm stressed out, I want caffeine and sugar. Okay, that's my go-to, salt and sweet. let's say I want to eat healthier, so like I'm trying to like get my mind to um be more interested in like healthier things to get energy from, like maybe vitamins or maybe like fruits or, like I don't know, like people have these protein shakes, like I'm trying to like get myself to rewire myself into and thinking positive thoughts more about craving things that are better for me, okay? So if you do that, like if like let's say you have 30 days, 42 days, there's all these studies, and you constantly like over and over again are like pushing this new information, yes, you will rewire the pathway in your mind so it's easier for you to not fall back into the older patterns, right? Because you've created you have reinforced better behavior, which turns into habits, much like if you went to, therapy for a long period and you're trying to work on certain issues and like you're just constantly trying to maybe talk to your self internally in a more positive way, or look at your past problems with your family in a different way so you're not so reactive and negative, right? Like all that does work for neuroplasticity. But what I have, neuroplasticity only works if the neurons in your brain, you have to have like a fully it's like a sheath. It's like a, I'm gonna say it wrong because I'm upset, but it's like I get so upset talking about this stuff. They have to be normal. It has to be a full, it has to be the whole neuron so that the synapse has like these like almost like dangly things, like think of like a jellyfish, like the tentacles. Okay, that's where the rebuilding happens. It has to attach to something in your brain to regrow, regenerate. It's just like if you plant a flower or bush, like the root has to it has to have it has to have somewhere to implant so that it can grow. But when with the violent force, it hit 3 regions of my brain and it sheared the neurons. It cut the bottom, it cut the roots off, okay? So there's nothing to reattach, okay? Like I know all this from like MRIs and like neurologists and specialists. I don't have much to work with. Okay? Like I can go to, I mean now because I lost the insurance coverage, because basically if you have like something wrong with one of your organs, I always say this is kind of like my same boring speech, but if you have a major organ in your body, let's say you have a bad liver, a bad heart, you have Medicare, you have insurance from your work, like that will pay, a large percentage, but at some point you have to make up the difference, right? Well, that's where like Medicaid comes in. It picks up the that and like Disabled people don't make that much an hour, okay? Like, if you got a job, we just don't. And right now I'm just not able to go get treatment and not have the something picking up what's left over to pay, because you only get so much per month. And all, as everybody knows, all the prices have gone up. I'm not trying to be like a super pity party. I'm just saying, like, so I've been doing the rehabbing of what they normally do with me. I've been doing it here by myself. So, because I pretty much know everything to do at this point. It's much harder to do it for yourself in that you have to be this extraordinarily disciplined person. Whereas, like, if you know you're going to a specialist or you're going to your, team person for your rehab, like it's like a teacher. You want to have your homework done. You don't want to go there and look like a moron, like you didn't do what you're supposed to do in the time they allotted you. Like, what are you supposed to work on if you didn't even do the assignments? The problem is, well, the great thing about that is that you always have someone to be accountable to, right? So they'll know if you haven't been doing your eye exercises, because it's like, I just won't last that long. It just won't work. I'll just fail quickly. It'll be obvious. But, like, if I am my own rehab person, right? It's like I can make it hurt. It physically hurts terribly to do this work. I'm in a lot of physical pain all the time. This is the problem with invisible disability. Well, the wonderful, wonderful thing about invisible disability is that you don't have to deal with people treating you different. You don't have to deal with people treating you like less than, or like you're dumber, or I don't know, like pitting you. You don't have to worry about any of that because nobody knows, because you look like you don't have a disability. But the problem with it is that nobody, the problem, that's the good side, but the bad side is that then nobody takes you seriously, because I can say 12 times that I cannot do certain paperwork, or I can't do certain things, and like people literally, it goes in one ear and out the other. Like, nobody has the capacity to, like, understand my bizarre, weird, left of center disability. It's just not common, because it's like my disability is weird. Like, the good thing is that, yes, I can still read and write, and I can come up with all this research. Like, way fantastic. Because for periods of time, I am normal. But the longer I use my eyes, the misalignment comes. Like, one eye, like, they're trying really hard to stay together. Because, like, I didn't know this until I had a disability, but apparently, in order for you to read across a line, a sentence, both eyes have to hit the target of, like, the word you're reading simultaneously at the same exact point, and they both have to follow it all the way across exactly. Now, there's, like, a million things going on with your neurological, and a movement. All of this is, like, working together to do something that you, like, before I had a disability, I'd never in 1,000 years ever thought anything about it. But what happens is the more I read, it gets tired. The eye that's not, like if they're like this, so I force it to be even, and force it, and so everything's going good, and then all of a sudden, it starts to jump. It'll jump. It's called a saccade. All it just means is your eye starts jumping. And it won't stay at the same level. So it's like you're constantly trying to jam it back, and then it just gets to it's just like fuck you, it's not going to do it anymore. And so now you cannot focus on you can't read the line because your eyes are not meeting at the same point anymore. And so that's when the letters start switching, the numbers start switching. I'll get lost in like a paragraph. Like if I'm reading a paragraph, it's like, or like if I'm doing notes and I'm like, oh, where was that thing about? Okay, I'm talking about the Riddler now. I'm talking about the Joker. I'm talking about Catwoman. I'm talking about, Bane. I can't just go and look and say, oh, here's the page on that, because it's jumbled. It's like not clear. So then I have to like wait, take time, rest, ice pack or whatever, and then just stop it and then wait for the realignment to be back more normal and then start all over again. Okay, I kind of just don't even want to talk about this anymore. My whole point is that I honestly lately have been, and especially with everything that's going on in the country right now, with like funding social services, I don't know, like voting women, like I don't know, everything that's going on, like war. I mean, like it's sort of hard to be positive, and I've been getting really down about my disability. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've just been feeling like really not positive about it. Like, I'm just like, how am I supposed to have a platform? Like, and then I'll like writing a book right now, a memoir about my experience with the disability, and also like child abuse and my mom's mental health disorder, like all the crazy shit in my life. I'm writing that, but like I do it by talk to text, and then I don't know, I'm struggling with that too, because it's like I've got some of it handwritten, some of it typed, some of it on audio, some of it on all these different, I don't know what you want to call them, apps, whatever. And it's like, I can't edit anything because it's not like in a cohesive form, because it's all over the place and all these different modes where I'm trying to figure out which one is the right one. I mean, the truth is nothing ever is the right thing. Like, literally, there is nothing for what I have. Like, there's nothing. Large print books don't really work because I have a really hard time with them. The spacing, like if how the there has to be like almost like a double space between the two lines, because if not, if it's just normal like single space, when my eyes get tired, they merge. The sentences merge. And so, like, I'm just looking at, like, one sentence. It's really, like, two sentences glued together, and it makes a long run-on of gobbledygook. It's not, it could be hieroglyphics for all I know. It's not, I can't. So, like, if I go try to get large print, like, I only can do, like, certain publishers who have spacing, and then I struggle really hard with, I really can't read, capital letters. Like, it's very weird, but it's like, they hurt my eyes more to, try to read capital letters, but a lot of large print is capital. Although it's tall, it's more like a capital letter because it's so, I don't know. It's so, like, if I go to the library, like, I probably, or like a Barnes and Noble, I can probably read like 20% of the things in there if I'm lucky, and really I just usually get like photography books or picture books, or like it's not even worth getting large print because it's just not. It's just, first of all, they cost a fortune. It's like $30 to get like a large print paperback. It's ridiculous. But so I'm gonna well, I'm gonna say one more thing about it, and then I'm gonna try to edit this, send it out, and then I'm gonna come back and do the Batman thing because this is now too long to tack it onto this. But I'm really struggling with editing videos. You gotta make them like 3 minutes or whatever for YouTube, and to edit them, just to make them like to take like a 45 minutes and then cut it into little splints of 3 minutes, 3 minutes. It's like, for my eyes to focus that long just to make a simple edit, it's like excruciatingly painful. Like, it hurts so bad, and it's like very hard for me to do. And it's like, I've tried to like find different apps or whatever that do it for you, but it's not really working. I gotta turn this light off. It's hurting my eyes. This sounds like another excuse, but I have videos I've made since, in this last month. I got like, I think, a few hours worth, but just trying to edit them down has just been like really hard for me to do. Lately. I mean, I used to do it. I used to be really used to it, but I don't know. I've just been struggling also with my own, I don't know if other people struggle with this, but I have insane perfectionism. I mean, I was a professional for like 25 years, and unfortunately, I like to do things a certain way, my way. Like, and so I have these ridiculously high standards for how I want things done. So, like, when I do things, I like almost like triple prepare. It's like I don't wing stuff very much. Everything's like overly prepared to as nauseum, you know. So it's like I'm highly disappointed in my own work because of my disability, because it's like I cannot seem to get myself to be like, accept the need to, and I always lie to myself and I say, I have accepted this. I accept it, you know. It's like lying, total lying. I have not accepted it. I hold myself to like a standard that is my old brain, and I'm not happy with a lot of stuff I do. I mean, I'm happy when I talk about it and stuff. Like, I love talking about work. I'm just like really into working. Like, I love projects, I love intellectual life. I can't stand um well, this sounds terrible. I'm a terrible relaxer. What do you call that? Um I'm terrible at leisure time. I really suck at it. Unless it's like like a forced activity for my self improvement, then I'm very like into it. Like if I can like swim 30 laps, or if I can like walk my dog. I don't have a dog anymore, but you know, walk the, when I did have one, well, I walk without one now all the time, but 3 miles on my phone app thingy. I'm super good at that. Like I'm just like really I guess I'm really into performing, like to have I don't know, that's being an only child, or I don't know, black sheep of the family, or whatever, or eldest daughter who, well, I was the only daughter, but you know, like there's a lot of dysfunction in my family history. High dysfunction because of my mom's schizophrenia, and my dad had bipolar one, and so, and I was raised by my grandparents, you know, who were amazing, but you know, I was always around older people, so it's like I was like the strongest, fastest, whatever. There's a lot of responsibility, you know, to uphold at all times, and it's like I guess I'm just used to putting insane amounts of pressure on myself and then expecting to be highly productive. And honestly, to be totally honest, I miss doing these videos. I miss doing all that. I miss communicating with other people. I miss connecting with others. I miss having a passion. I miss being part of the world. But I have these, like, my expectations for how this should go are like way higher than anybody who's watching it. Like, I'm sure people watching this could not care less if I had like all these like Carl Jung or Freudian, like all these long, lengthy theories and psychological. I mean, like it just goes on and on and on and on. You know, like in depth. And I don't think people care that much about. I mean, I think they find it. They're like, oh, that's interesting. You know, who doesn't want to hear about the Stanford prison experiment? It's fascinating. Or like, you know, any of these things are really interesting. But I just got to the point where it's like I just didn't want to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to make videos. I didn't want to. I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to be less than. I didn't want to be not good enough. I didn't want to be below what I think is I'm capable of. It's really hard to have like the same intelligence, the same. I mean, my memory was fucked. I mean, it was like horrendous. My short term memory, like my abilities, like I think I took a, so sad and pathetic, but when I was first brain injured, I think the first year or two, they gave me testing, and my IQ was actually an 85, which is like 1 point above learning disabled. There's nothing wrong with being learning disabled, but it's like I don't know what I was before. I mean, I probably was something in the early hundreds. I mean, I don't know. My son's way high. He's like 115 or something 120. I'm nothing like that, but you know, I was up there. I was not fucking 85. And what that was testing was what I could produce, what I could my communicate, not verbally, but on like just testing. They make you do all kinds of crazy things like draw a table and chairs, or you know, like they make you do all these, like literally put a square peg in a hole, you know, like a puzzle, like a toddler. You have to do all these things, and it's like, you know, I just sucked at it all. It's like I had the power up here, but communicating through my eyes, interpreting English. We're talking about English, not a foreign language. We're talking about reading and writing English, my native language, was abysmal. I couldn't even like do like telephone numbers, and it was like joke. Like big joke. Reading a recipe, impossible. You know, I mean, it was just like bad. And that's what it is. It's not like saying like the way I think is like that. It's like how it like I could even write like all my writing was like this. Like if I wrote like a grocery list, it was all sideways and like slanted down, and it was almost like if you drew triangles and then like always only wrote on the bottom of the triangle. Like if the triangles were sideways on a page, I don't know how to explain this very well, but it's like I couldn't I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't do a straight line. I couldn't write anything. And I would tell myself, that's the thing that was nutty, is I would tell myself, I would say, like, that's what's crazy. It's like, I know what I need to do, and then when I go to do it, it comes out like completely distorted. Like it would just be like, there were times when I would like go out with friends to lunch. I couldn't read a menu. I couldn't all the letters, it would be like alphabet soup. All the letters, like if I looked at a menu, all the letters in the menu would, it's almost like they would, almost like I was hallucinating. Like they were all, I guess it was my eyes, you know, they would like fall apart. And then I would have to re-put them back. I'd have to reconstruct, like if it had the name of the soup, minestrone, I would have to take all the letters, put them back in the right order to make minestrone. And then by that time, like, okay, I've only read like one soup, you know, and like all my friends are ordering and they've already like looked at, like I couldn't, but like I was too prideful to be like, can you help me? Like, God forbid I asked for help. Hell no. Absolutely not. I might say something like, oh, I'm having a little trouble, but I would never in 1,000 years be like, what does this say? I would never do that. And that's why I haven't been online, because even though this is a talking, which I have a 0 speech problems from my brain injury, 0 like verbal, that's all perfect. But in order to talk, you have to have things you have to organize what you're going to say. You have to have I'm not going to belabor this point. I think you get it. I just was ashamed. I was ashamed. And I don't think I can express to you how much time. I mean, I'm not going to speak for all disabled people, but I'm going to say there's probably a lot of disabled people like me who spend, you can't imagine the amount of hours spent trying to be normal, trying to look and appear as the person I used to be. To do that, to stay at a certain level before it all starts. Because if I don't stay on it, I could have a permanent, I don't know, what do you call it, stigma, where like they could drift. My eyes could start to, permanently not, it would be obvious. Like the misalignment would show just by you looking at me. That will happen if I don't constantly work every freaking day, constantly, to keep my eyes strong enough to be close to looking like it was before. It never acts like it was before, but to look like it. It's like, how are you supposed to freaking get anywhere? How are you supposed to do anything? How are you supposed to accomplish anything? It's like constant trying to just be who you were all the time, days, hours, weeks, to just be, you're not even who you were. Like I mean, I don't even remember sometimes. I don't even remember. Like, it's sad, but it's like sometimes I don't even remember what it was like to just sit and casually read a magazine. I used to love magazines. I used to love leisure reading, that was my number one thing I wanted to do all the time. Now everything I highlight, hit, speaker voice, it talks to me. Everything's talking to me. And all these devices, they're all talking to me. And yes, I do read. I think it was because I've gotten, like I said, like for a while it works. And like during that period of time, I can read, it looks like I'm reading normally. But it's like, then there becomes this thing where like you pretend, I'm not going to talk about other people. I'll talk about myself. I like fake being, it's not faking. It's like I try to look like I'm not struggling. Is it faking? Anyway, this is getting too long. But I think you get the point. So somehow I'm going to have to force myself to start being more vulnerable, start being more transparent. And don't act so perfect all the time. Don't act like I'm who I was before, because I'm not. I love myself, and I actually think there's a lot of amazing gifts you get from just being disabled. Like, it sounds insane, but it's like a lot of my other senses are like way heightened. Like I have a lot more perceptions of other things that I never had. And like you appreciate everything. Like anything small is like amazing. Like I think I always was somebody who looked at the beauty in things, but it's like once you've had a major illness or a terrible you know, accident or disability, it's like all the little things you're just like, oh my god, just to wake up, just to be alive, just to be able to, be able to have the gift of appearing like a normal person. I mean, like, amazing. I'm so happy, it's just like all these things are like manna from heaven, like I don't care about like how much money I have or like what material possessions I have. I mean, yes, I like nice things, but like this is all costume jewelry. I mean, like I really kind of also don't give a shit. It's like I love I love finer things in life, of course, but it's like is that important like it used to be? Fuck no. Because I know it can be I know everything can be taken away. I mean, my very life. I mean, I should be way more disabled than I am, considering what happened to me. You just become, or I should say, I just have become happier in that way. It's a relief to not care about these big things. Things I used to care about, and what vacation I would take, or what is just, I don't care anymore. Like, is this like everything's a gift, everything's a prize? So in that way, it's like, okay, yeah, that is maybe what makes it bearable is the letting go of stuff that freaking doesn't matter. I mean, I can't get worked up about it. I just can't get worked about things I used to get upset about. It just holds no interest to me at all. I can't. I just can't care. It's just not important enough to me. I'm not spending 1 minute of this precious life worrying about, the rat race or, you know, what status position I have or whatever. Like I've already lost it all. I mean, I've already lost everything. So it's like, it's not coming back. So it's like, I've accepted that part of it. That part is easier to accept. I think it's maybe the things that you care about most. Like, I mean, like my reading and writing were like that. I mean, I was an English literature major. My whole life has been jobs based on research, everything. And losing grip of that, it's been like, and then losing like pleasure, like all the things I used to like to do to relax. It's like, this is not possible. It's just like not, it's gone forever, it's not going to happen. And I always one of those people who just like to like open a real book and read a real book. I do not want to. I don't want to be talked to like. I don't want to listen to audio for freaking everything. I mean, I want to flip through a cookbook and like find different things I want just randomly. I don't want everything to have to be so prepared and planned out. Like nothing's like natural or nothing's organic, you know, nothing. I mean, it's like, can't, like, if I look at art book, I can't look in the index or reference, or I just can't do stuff that I took for granted, you know, like everything's a chore, everything's freaking a mountain to fucking climb, you know. It's like it takes all the joy out of everything. It's like, well, just forget it, you know. It's gonna be like this. I mean, it's just that part is awful. But oh yeah, I'm gonna stop. Okay, I'll come back on. I'm yawning. It's late at night. Um, I'll try to edit this one and push it out, and then if I can stay up long enough, I'll do the Batman one. Or if I can't, I'll do it in the morning. I'm not sure, but I feel like I've broken through the ice and got this video out. So this is like not easy for me to be candid about something I'm so heartbroken over. I'll always be heartbroken over this brain injury. It's broken my heart. And it's hard to talk about it because I just always feel like I'm complaining. I feel like I'm like I'm self-pitying, like I'm throwing a pity party. I don't know how to talk about it without, like, I know how to talk about like the technical stuff, like, you know, the neurology part, or, you know, like all the science stuff, or, you know, all that. I like talking about that, but it's like the feelings, how it feels. Well, it feels like I'm living in a freaking garbage can. It feels awful, you know. So it's like I'm grateful, but I'm miserable. I don't know how else to say it, you know, like I don't know how to I don't know how to I don't know how to get over a lot of things, or like master a lot of things that I want to, because it's like Britain and Canada are leading in brain injury research, and they have treatments that like only like a extremely wealthy football player, soccer player in the US could ever dream of having access to this kind of treatments. Um, there's a lot of things that could be solved if I lived in a different country. Um, but then you have to like have enough money to move there, and then like I don't even know like the process of like getting on their health care and all that, and like it would be like such a long process to then finally be capable of receiving said treatments. I mean, I have consulted with a doctor from Canada on video chat in Ontario and Quebec. That was all like super. He recommended me to go to Chicago, but it's like none of my health insurance is touching any of that Chicago stuff. Like, not even, like, even, no. That is like a pipe dream. But thank God for YouTube, because I can research a bunch of stuff and try to, you know, I try to do a lot of homemade recreated treatments here myself, like over like what I've been taught, you know, in all the rehabbing I've already done, and try to duplicate what they did and do it to myself, and like try to carry on. But like I wouldn't. I mean, the things that I'm talking about in the UK and Canada, it's like machines and like, you know, like assisted aids, just access to equipment and assisted devices that like that's not happening here whatsoever. I mean, I'm in the Midwest, which I am hoping to move out of here the next year or less. I really have to move to a city where there's better public transportation, because it's like the driving, I do it, but it's like if I didn't have to drive and focus on driving, that's more eye strain. It's like if I could cut that out, then I would have so much more ability during the day for other things. So anyway, I'm gonna end this now.